pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anyone wishing to address council? John?
Thank you. My name is John Hydock. I've been a member of Mount Jewett Borough for more than 25 years. And I'd like to open my public comment with a quote that I got from the United States Constitution. Under the First Amendment, it says, and I'm going to quote this, "The government cannot restrict expression based on content, ideas, or subject matter." On 11/3 of 2025, at approximately 7:03, I was speaking at a public government borough council meeting when President Tom Gear interrupted me and said that I could not speak anymore on my current subject. This was not because I was extending my 5-minute time limit or because I was speaking in any violent or threatening way. It was because I was attempting to show the public some documented evidence of the conspiracy to cover up fraud from the taxpayers. The situation of council member Brett Morgan receiving compensation of public funds into his bank account for the almost nothing that he does was already investigated by the Pennsylvania State Ethics Board, and Mr. Morgan was fined $15,000 for his corruption. And because this is allowed to continue, and the council members have been educated on the situation, that's what makes it a conspiracy. 2 months ago, a motion was made to have employees punch a time clock, as the current personnel policy clearly states, and it was met with resistance and failed to pass. How could that possibly benefit the citizens of the community by not having accountability of whether an employee is actually going to work or not to earn the compensation that they receive? I mean, what could possibly be a benefit that we're paying money to a person that's coincidentally a council member, and we don't require them to prove that they're doing anything and have no documentation of the such? Not only did Morgan get himself on the payroll for a job that he's not licensed or educated to do, he's not doing it. And I provided photographic evidence that he goes there 3 to 7 minutes per day, which is only long enough to lie on the paperwork for the tests that he's not doing. You can't even calibrate the meters in the amount of time that he is there. And I've showed this evidence to council. That's what makes it a conspiracy. I've showed the violations from the DEP to council. Those violations are not disgruntled former employee John Hydock. Those are from an independent agency, the DEP. That things are not happening down there how they're supposed to. There was no composite sampler records at the plant for 5 years. How does that happen? The sampler records are right there on day one when you take over. Just keep filling them out. But due to neglect, he just stopped doing them. And for 5 years, we have no documentation, which is something they were violated for. But Morgan continues to get public funds injected into his bank account. How is this not conspiracy? The council knows there are violations since the Morgan takeover. The council knows that the violations, one of them is failure of the Eads Group to oversee plant operation. The council knows that there were no violations before the Morgan Eads Group takeover. The council knows that Morgan gets direct deposit of public funds into his bank account with absolutely no evidence of him even performing his duties and nobody overseeing him. I have showed photos of a large snowdrift in front of the main office down at the sewer plant with no footprints or tire tracks, taken every single day at 4 p.m. for 3 weeks straight. How is this not conspiracy to commit fraud of public funds? If you don't believe me, and you don't have to believe me, and you don't have to believe my pictures, and you don't have to believe my evidence, but you at least have the responsibility to investigate this matter. Brett Morgan did not apply for this position of financial gain. Brett Morgan did not interview for this position of financial gain. There was no competition for Mr. Morgan. He got this position of financial gain because he used his position as a borough council member to create this for himself. He conspired with other council members to get this money direct deposited into his account. And that's not my opinion, those are facts, and they're proven with documents. When the borough maintenance and sewer plant was run with 2 full-time employees for more than 25 years. We had Rod and Kevin that ran the sewer plant in the borough. And there's no reason that the 2 maintenance not guys we have now can't do it. The only reason we have a third person is because Mount Jewett Borough Council member, Brent Morgan, wanted health insurance and benefits and a paycheck for a position that he created for himself. This is not a subject that we're gonna quit talking about. It's not gonna go away because it's fraud. This council member does not provide a service that's documented for the compensation he receives. He doesn't even take the time to write a monthly sewer report. He gives us what he calls a verbal report. And again, no documentation. What if we want to talk about last month's sewer report? We don't even have one to reference. We would have to remember what he said during his verbal report. He does not provide a written sewer report because it would take time to prepare that. And time is something that we don't get for the money that we give him. And that's what makes this fraud. And fraud is a crime in Pennsylvania. And my question is, what are we gonna do about it? Thank you.
I was gonna wait till my sewer report to bring on this, but it seems this keeps being a topic of contention in our meetings. I'm gonna announce it right now. Effective January 5th, 2026, I will be resigning from the sewer operations. I've talked to the Ease Group and I've talked to the borough employees. And going back to the old system like we used to have, where the borough employees took care of the sewer ponds. And talked with Barbara about it and other council members, and we'll work this next month finding out a compensation package with what wages I would have earned for next year for them to do the operations. So hopefully we don't have this every month coming down and having contention. So I will be resigning effective January 5th. That way we don't have to worry about holiday pay and anything else. We can figure out the compensation at next month's meeting. So I should put that to bed.
Anybody else wish to address council?
I have a question. It might have been answered on a meeting I didn't attend, but a while back was brought up that the difference in what was charged by the borough to borough residents for sewer and what is charged to those outside of the borough, and how it is a violation of the law that they are charged less than the borough residents. Did the solicitor ever do anything with that, or did that just die on the vine?
Our solicitor had stated that we don't charge the individual residents of the township. We charge the township a flat bulk rate, and we're not involved in the billing of their customers. Just like Georgia Pacific or the other ones, we do bill Georgia Pacific. That's the outside entity that we do bill, but the line coming in with all those residents on Campbelltown, we don't. Our solicitor disagreed with the facts stated and advised us that we were well within our rights to charge what we're charging. So.
And that was a contract that was written.
Yeah, it was a contract that was written back in 2014.
And actually the contract.
PUC
doesn't say
disagrees,
that.
so you know.
What's that?
The Public Utilities Commission disagrees with that. Because I don't know who the solicitor is, but it's stated simply in the law. You cannot charge them less, however you charge them. Bulk rate, single, doesn't matter. Has to be equal or greater to. So,
Well, if it
I
comes
just
down
wondered,
to
as
something.
a borough resident, are we gonna be refunded, or what's gonna happen?
I believe that the way the solicitor, when I spoke to him and in his response, the way he looks at it is Hamlin Township is actually our customer, not the people that live out there, just Hamlin Township. And because they pay more than $44 a month, you know what I mean? Hamlin Township is our only customer. Joe Schmo that lives out in Hamlin Township that they collect from is not my customer. I don't bill them, I don't collect from them. I accept sewage from Hamlin Township with them only being my customer,
Regardless of the amount.
with regardless of the amount.
This would go into litigation and it'll cost us a bunch of money, but find out if it's right or wrong. I don't think we'll save our sewer customers any money, but
Okay.
Kelly, you have your hand up?
Wreath orders are due today. We have less than 5 hours if anybody is sitting and waiting to purchase their wreaths, for the wreath assembly ceremony on December 13th. Wreath delivery date, I just received my call today, will be on December 10th, 10:30 a.m. at the Fire Hall lower lot. If anyone is available, I'd appreciate all hands on deck, because the boxes have 12 wreaths in them, so they're not the lightest thing to do. I have also written email as well as letters to each of the borough council members as well as the mayor. I've received 3 responses. Just a reminder, December 5th, if you wish to place a ceremonial wreath, we'd appreciate it. If not, please let me know as well so that I can replace you. The blood drive that was set for December 17th was canceled due to Community Blood Bank having staffing issues. I understand that people have received postcards, so please disregard that. This is not to be reflected upon the Hilltop Heritage Coalition. This is them losing 3 phlebotomists last week. So if you want to become something, please become a phlebotomist so we can have a blood drive here. Community Center, we received the paperwork from the diocese. The diocese have agreed to our terms of purchasing the community center, which is the previous Catholic church, for $30,000. We are within 6,000 of that, and we have until the end of February to purchase that. Many people have come up to me asking me about the Borough Council as to if there's any money available that could be donated to that. That is up to you guys. I am not asking, I'm just referring to questions that have been placed upon me. Pole decorations, I do have them. They are in my living room. I have not had the time or the weather to put them up, so I apologize, but I hope to get that done this week. And I did have a question. She says she lives in Mount Jewett, Bridge Street at Lindholm. She says that road is not plowed. I do not know if that's Mount Jewett or not.
It's a state route.
Okay, so she says it's never touched, so I didn't know if it was Jimmy Trussell, if it was you guys, or if it was, okay, so,
It's a state.
alright. She was not able to get to work for 3 days last week, so she was just wondering who's in charge of the plowing of the road, and I didn't know, so thank you for that information. That is all I have, just hoping for good weather the next 2 weeks, please.
I want to reiterate the fact that she said about the wreaths coming in on the 10th at 10:30, right?
Yes.
It is very helpful if we have a lot of hands there to unload them. It makes it very quick, especially it seems like the last few years been pretty cold and wet. So if you're available, stop down to the fire department spot.
It literally takes like 30 minutes, like
Yep.
it's really.
Yeah, especially when we have a good-sized crew.
I will not be there for the resetting ceremony, but I may be able to be there on the 10th.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to address council? Okay, public comment will be closed. Mayor's report, she's not here, she didn't leave anything, right, Barb? Okay, maintenance report, did everybody have time to look that over?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion been made by Brett, second by Jesse, everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, sewer maintenance report.
Not a lot this month. Any problems with the pump stations? The Eads group has been in contact. They've been up working on mapping some areas in the Hill Street area, High Street area, Poplar Street area, trying to get things found out where there's not manholes to access the lines. Other than that, everything has been good as gold.
Okay, borough manager's report. Oh, we go. Motion to accept the report.
Motion to accept sewer maintenance report.
Motion. Okay, motion by Jesse, second by Ona. Everybody in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Okay, approval of minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, borough manager. Forgot you, Bob. One thing, I mean, everybody should have time to read it over, but we have to, do it at the, new business. We have to vote on the budget tonight to be carried, so that's the main thing I saw on that.
I'll make a motion to accept the proposed budget.
I'll second.
Okay, motion been made by Brett, second by Jesse, to accept the proposed budget. Everyone in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Barb, is there a time
Is that
frame on
gonna,
this?
I'm sorry, is that gonna incorporate the resolution to hold the tax rate when it is?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Put that in.
This $1,300 to $1,600 general code for the borough, does
We
that
have-
have a time frame on it?
No, I think it's February maybe. The reason, there's 3 ordinances that you guys have done since this was codified, and they just like to keep up on them, because if you get too far behind,
Throw it on the website too.
Right, because those ones aren't available. One of them is the update to the streets, not street numbering. I think there was a ticketing ordinance that we passed for Lori. And there was one more, but off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
We can wait on that one, make sure we get all this in,
Well, we can wait till
resolution, wait till February 4th.
January to,
Do you wanna wait for that?
I would say.
See how we end up at the end of the year,
Okay.
because, you know, I'd feel better if we waited until the tax
That's
money
fine.
started rolling in
Yeah.
April, May.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the
I'll make a motion.
second. A motion been made by Brett, second by Ona, to accept the borough manager's report. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Okay, approval of minutes.
A motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
A motion made by Jesse, second by Brett, to approve the minutes. Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. All right. Everybody look at the treasury report and the payment of bills.
I make a motion.
Okay, motion been made by Brett, seconded by
Any? Shut up.
everybody.
Aye.
Anybody approve it? Aye, anybody opposed? Okay, approval of the sewer department financial report and payment of bills.
All motion to sewer department financial report to pay bills.
For a second. Motion made by Jesse, second by Ona, everybody approving it, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Okay, committee reports.
I don't have anything for maintenance of streets.
I'm gonna bring up, I've had residents on Anderson Street, which now we're plowing snow again. That, the signs, I think, say no parking from 3 to 6 on the side that you're allowed to park. And he has pictures of, vehicles not moved. And, you know, so what's the remedy? What can be done? What, you know, we need to be looking into this here. We're coming into winter. You know, and there's other streets that, you know, we've had issues.
Well, I suppose. Let's possibly talk to solicitor, we have ordinances, we have the signs. Talk to a plowing, or a tow operating company that would be willing to haul them at the owner's expense. Or see if the borough pays and reimburses. I mean, we play games with this every year. So the only way you're gonna do it is
buses have a driveway,
Yeah,
so it's not like there's nowhere to go.
No, you know, and I don't think it'd be a big problem if they would actually come out and take the time to try and move it in a timely fashion. They'll leave it sit there 2-3 days and then you have huge piles. I plowed for the township. As long as you moved every day or every other day or made an effort to try and clean up around your vehicle where it wasn't obstructing a lane, it's not a big deal. But
So that's from 3 to 6 every day.
yeah,
That's what
it's
it
just
says.
main plowing areas. Now, if it's not snowing, I don't think I'd go out and tow anybody's vehicle, but it's for snow removal. You know, but we have the same thing happen on Main Street, especially now that PennDOT doesn't put the wing plow down, the Borough guys get to do that. And there's a parking area that is on Borough property, it's up a little alley, but they won't go up there, you know, they won't go into the medical center, they just don't move. And then everybody gets mad because it's not plowed back to the curb.
Are they allowed to go in the medical center parking lot?
I don't know that for certain, but they're allowed to go in ours.
Oh, they do, a lot of them, but I think.
We gotta be out there in the morning, I
Right,
think as long as they can get plowed.
They can plow, they usually come over and plow about 6:30 or 7.
Even if they would clean out around their vehicles and then back into it, it would be okay, but they'll just leave it sit there for 3 days, you know, on the main drag. Not trying to put anybody out, but they're responsible.
But I mean, it's a shame, cause like Anderson Street, if they would just, like Brett said, you know, you get up at 6 or 7 in the morning, don't move it, you know, cause the guys are gonna be back around anyhow, and they can push it back out of the way. But when it sits there for a couple of days, and what happens, it starts melting, and you get nighttime comes, freezes, and then it's hard for them to move it.
I mean, when I have a plow on my truck, if I drive around the side street, I've done it down here multiple times, see where somebody moved a car, I'll clean it back to the curb. But there's a lot of these people just, well, they're not working, they're not going anywhere, and they leave it for 3 days. And you have
I
them.
think it'd be, I mean, as far as some of these areas, to maybe send a letter out to them that we're going to, plan on, you know,
Let's come up with a plan first of what we can and what we can't do, and then maybe we can send a letter, or just post it on a vehicle. This is your final warning, you will be towed if it's not moved next time. Okay?
You can take it,
what's that?
isn't that the object of the ticketing?
We can take it.
Well, that's something we better ask the solicitor, because I'm not sure how technically we can ticket without being,
Law enforcement.
law enforcement. Yeah.
Well, I know a while back we were talking about hiring constables to ticket.
Mm-hmm.
That too.
Well, that was something we
Cause that
didn't
would be
get put in
kind
the
of a
budget though, so.
one-time fee kind of thing, or
No,
few-time fee.
anytime we used them. I don't mind the idea, we'll have to see what our ordinance says, we can tell them, why ticket? You know, I'll pay $5 not to go shovel around my car, or $20, but it costs $300 to move it, I bet you they move their vehicles. We'll get everything straightened around, talk to solicitor, Barb will just craft it, from code enforcement, we'll craft an email, talk to Tom, get it sent out, see what we can. And I don't have anything on that, that'll cover code enforcement as well. 2 birds.
All right, finance and insurance, I don't have anything on that.
Yeah, just the budget, and we already did that, so.
Okay. Personnel, Jesse?
Nothing to report on that.
Okay, community
I'd
development,
like to, have a brief executive session regarding personnel.
what's that?
I'd like to have a brief executive session regarding personnel.
We have to get it at the end of the day.
Can we wait till the end of the meeting so because otherwise I'm making everybody leave.
Yeah,
'Cause
we can do that.
Your balls have ears.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Planning, parks, anything, development,
No,
fire department, Jane?
The Girl Scouts were looking for a place to hold meetings and they approved the fire hall as a place for them to do that. And as for the fireworks displays, they're gonna contact their insurance company and if it's going to be too expensive, they're just gonna can the whole idea. And the Mount Jewett Swedish Festival Association is starting a Dollar Horse Project. Individuals, businesses, and organizations are invited to purchase them. It would be statue decorated with the theme of the buyer's choice. And there will be 3 grants available through the Allegheny National Forest Visitors Bureau to help with the cost of purchase, which is currently at $5,000 per mold decorated and clear coated. So they are researching other options, like the guy that did the squirrels up in Olean, they said those were only $2,500. But I don't know when they were put in either, they've been up there a while, so they're $2,500, that might be $5,000 now, so.
Did you say $1?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just an idea,
Yeah, I'm on the committee, but Leslie Davis has found some other avenues at $2,500. That, you know, there's a fee up front, but in the end, it'll be around $2,500, which is half the price of what we first originally found at $5,000. There's a lot of people that's really interested in town here, who wanna have one in front of them. Yeah. And if you get enough of them, you can actually do a, GPS type of thing, or, you know, they, to where they travel around and you have things for them to
You might
look
even
for.
get a better rate if there's enough, you know.
Yeah. Tom Haberberger has graciously volunteered to go out to where they're made out west and pick them up, and bring them back for free.
Oh, wow, where are they made?
Do you remember Kansas or something like that?
Oh, okay, so say if it's Wyoming, heck yeah, I'll go, but in Kansas, never mind.
All right. Anything else on that? That's it there?
Nope, that's it.
Annie, Ivory?
Had their meeting on November the 12th, just a couple notables. They're helping out with the community Christmas party, by purchasing, library books for the kids to give away. Or from the library. And it was a Christmas book from the library for the kids. I passed along to them how helpful the new, rear lights were in the back of the library for election day. That several people had commented on how much easier it was to see coming in and out of the building once the sun went down. This weekend, on the 6th, Courtney has a program going on, where the Swedish goats are coming to the library, so it's like a little pop-up petting zoo. So that'll be kinda nice, cause we've got the vendor fair going on up there at the fire hall. That the big level is doing, and people can go right down and see the goats and bounce back and forth between each. And I didn't realize this, but October 2026, so October coming up, they are planning a reception that's gonna be the library's 60th anniversary. So, that's nice. There'll be more detail on that coming out too. And their next meeting is December the 10th.
Okay. Something I should have brought up earlier, as far as, if you notice, some new lights in town, as far as the Rotary has put up several new displays. You know, it's something we do a lot of fundraising to raise money to do that, but also we had a lot of private donations given to be able to do what we did this year. That was, Jeff Swanson was instrumental in getting that done. Teresa, thank you for putting that in the paper, having that put in the paper. Nice picture there and stuff of that.
Thank you, and you're thank you, and you're welcome.
But you know, so just you know, if you have even if it's $10, $20, you know, we have a thing that you can donate to. You can go on, what do they call them, little things you put your phone in, a QR code. You can donate. They have where you can donate through there if you'd like to, or if you want to donate by check or something. We give it to Jeff Wolf, he's our treasurer. But, you know, we keep trying to build up the coffers so we can add more things. I just think, you know, I have a lot of good comments from a lot of people in town, out of town, about how nice things look here, here in Mount Jewett with the lights. And we joke around, we said we got a call that night from NASA saying that we had to tone the lights down a little bit because it was interrupting their space missions. Okay, Jesse, sewer operation.
Just as an update from Eads, they are done camming the sewers. They're going to use the camera info to find the remaining laterals that they're missing. This month they should be submitting for the permits to DEP. As I mentioned before, this was probably, August, September. The permitting process is a bit slow. It goes through two entities. And so it's definitely a link in the chain that's gonna hold us up a bit. We'll probably end up having to push back to March for submittal of PennDOT. I will try and keep up with where that is in the permitting process. Maybe I can speed it up, who knows? That's it.
Well, big thing, make sure they got their T's crossed and their I's dotted, so when it's submitted, so we can get things happening. Thank you. All right, that's all the committee reports. Old business it has here, Hamlin Township sewer line. I haven't heard that, have you? Okay. All right, for new business is a proposed budget for 2026. Yeah, we already voted on that, so anything else we need to have entertained to the,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
well, we can't, just don't.
We have the,
Oh, we got an executive session. We'll
Yes.
do that when we come back, yeah.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna, 7:31, we're gonna go into an executive, 7:32, executive session. I ask the public, this will end our meeting. When we come out, we'll be finished, and, so I have to have you leave the building, because we don't have sound there to